What's up, niche community? Welcome back to another John Supercell classic. And in this time, I've turned my microphone up so that I'm actually audible and you can hear me talk. Yeah. I watched the last one. I really didn't feel like redoing it. Today, though, we're going to be talking about loops. Yay! All right. Now, loops are pretty niche. So, what I'm going to do is we'll just go ahead and go to server script service, add a script. All right. So there's two kinds of loops that you can do, or main types of loops. There are weird niche more loops, but we're not talking about those. Those are stupid and for crazy people. Ah! Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the for loop and the while loop. Now, these are similar but also different. So the point of a loop is to run the same code multiple times. So let's say I wanted to print something that was like counting up. I could do print 1, print 2, print 3, print, oh, not physical properties, print 4, print 5. And that took a hot minute, and it looks pretty ugly. Like all these numbers. I don't want to see all that. Go ahead and delete that. But what we can do to make that process a lot easier is we're going to use something called a for loop. I'll link some documentation down in the description for some more applications of it, but we're just going to talk about the more basic features. So for loop, for I equals 1. So I equals 1, that's the starting value. So the starting value is 1. Then the count, or the amount of times the loop is going to run, not 120, is 10. And then the last number is going to be the increment. So how many times it goes up by. So it starts at 1, and every time the code in here runs, it'll go back to the top. It'll add 1 to I will become 2, and it'll keep doing that until it gets to 10. So you can see here we print I place boosh, we could play. You'll notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you might think, oh, well, writing out print 10 times doesn't sound that hard. Let's say I wanted to run this 1,000 times. I don't think you'd want to write all of this out. That seems like it would be a big pain in the butt, but you can do you. I'm not going to judge. So there's a couple things we can do with this. The one I'm going to show is just this printing example. This video is going to be a lot shorter than the last one. The other kind of loop is a while loop. While true do. So basically the while loop is when something is true, it's going to keep doing it. So you'll notice last time we talked about like true false values or Boolean values. At least I think we did. I don't really remember. But a little bit of a refresher. If we say local cheeseburger, sorry I haven't eaten that, equals true, we'll say while cheeseburger equals true. Oh, you gotta do double equals. Oh yeah, we can cover if statements too. I'll do that. That's a good idea. Yeah, edit back over. Actually, we're doing if statements as well. Okay. So while cheeseburger equals true, it's gonna do whatever's in this code block. So we can do print hey. Now this will crash your game. I don't do this, but we're gonna do it anyway. See if it actually crashes it. See if Roblox can that time. So the while loops are dangerous because that can happen and it'll crash your game. Like, yeah, it could print hey 4,000 times, but we don't really want to doing that. So what we can do instead is make a new value while, or we'll do local, local db equals false. So what we'll do is we'll say and db equals false. And then we'll just say like after the loop db equals true. So basically what we're doing is the loop runs once and then it's going to set db to true, and db has to be false for the loop to run, so it's going to stop. So I'm going to say hey one time. So you can see here, we click play. It's only going to say hey once. This is good. Thumbs up emoji. A little bit more of a practical application of this is, let's say I want it to print hey every 0.5 seconds. What we'll do is we'll say wait 0.5, and then instead of dumping 10 trillion heys at once, it's just going to keep telling hey over and over and over again. So that way it won't crash the game. Hey, it's editing 9 with here. They changed it. It's actually task.wait now. I was wrong. I actually didn't know this until maybe like 15 minutes ago. So yeah, I would look into that if I were you, because it's the correct way to do it. I'll put it in the description if I remember to. This enough. You saw it earlier, your game will crash. You want to avoid this situation at all costs. Yeah, but that's basically for loops and while loops. And then I also want to talk about if statements. They're just kind of conditions. So an if statement is pretty much what it sounds like. If something, then do something, like cause and effect. But you control the cause and the effect. Because you're the god of the machines. That was tough. Hey, it's editing on with her again. I realized I explained this in maybe the worst way possible. So basically, an if statement is like, I was right about the cause and effect thing, but kind of think about the while statement, like while true, then do the thing, while false, don't do the thing. That's pretty much the best way to think about it, but it only happens once. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I record these videos, like, no script, I just kind of wing it, and I don't really know what I was on about with this one. Alright, so if db equals false, then. Now, you'll notice we get a little red line here. Expected then, got phrasing equals. When you're checking for a true or false value or Boolean value, you got a double equal sign. You also need to do this when comparing strings. But if you're ever comparing strings with this, what are we doing? So now, if the dbounce equals false, then it'll print what's shaken. Bacon. My stuff's food related, so I'm thinking fat. What's shaken, bacon? But now, if I go in and I edit db to be true, you'll notice no what's shaken bacon. Which, whoa! Sorry, I'm messing around with OBS. So if it's true, it doesn't happen because it has to be false. And then you can do this as well with the cheeseburger. So we'll do or cheeseburger equals true. So for or statements, only one thing has to be true. So db equals false, so no, it's not going to run. But cheeseburger equals true, so it's going to run. And is a little bit different. For and, both things have to be true. So like see here, if we have and we click run, nothing happens. We go back and we click and change it to 4 and run the same program, what's shaking, bacon? It'll run the code. I kind of quick fired that, but the nice part is it's on video, so you can go back and watch it. Try it for yourself, like open up Studio, create a setup similar to this. You can name the variables whatever you like, but basically that's the basic fundamentals of if and then loops. One more thing I need to talk about though, I almost forgot. It's not actually the end. I lied. Just thought you were getting out of this. Is else if then. So let's make a new variable. Local funky monkey equals plus. Actually, we'll say equals 12. So we're gonna say else if funky monkey equals 12. You got a double equal sign then. So if this is false, but then funky monkey equals 12, it's going to do the code down here. So we'll say print brass monkey. That funky monkey. Alright. So what's shaking bacon will run, right? There's gonna be no funky monkey. But if we go in and change cheeseburger to false, boom, brass monkey, that funky monkey. So the reason it's doing this is because it kind of works on like a step down basis. So it's going to check this first, and then if this is true, then it's going to skip down to the bottom. It's not going to read anything else. However, if this isn't true, it's going to do funky monkey and check for funky monkey. And then the last one is going to be else. So basically, what else doesn't check for anything. You always need to put else last because it makes sure that everything above it, if it's all like none of it's true, none of it runs, then else will be the last thing that runs. We'll do print that monkey is not funky. And we'll set funky monkey to 6-1. 6-1. And then you'll notice that monkey is not funky over here in our output. Yeah. So this is just some pretty basic logic. Games use a lot of these on top of each other to kind of decide things. What you really don't want though is to have one if statement and then a bunch of like else if statements just like going all the way down the screen. You kind of want to avoid that. I know the thumbnail for the first video was the comparison picture, but it's funny. It's all funny. It's all fun games. But that's pretty much all I have for this installment of the John Supercell scripting tutorial. A much shorter video this time. I do apologize. Okay, so worst scripting tutorial ever made. I completely forgot to include how to compare numbers, which is kind of important for literally everything. So let's do local equals 13. Local a. So if a equals 13, then so this is cool because it's 13. Wow, but what if it's more than 13 or less than 13? How are we gonna know? What we'll do is we'll do greater than, less than. So if we want hey to be more than 13, we'll do if hey is more than 13, then print oh yeah. But else if hey is less than 13, then print not cool, bro. I'm not gonna run this because I don't really feel like it. But basically, you can do this. This is cool. There's also other ones you can do. So if I do like if hey is not equal to 13, so this just basically means if it's any number but 13, so then it'll run. So it's not going to run right now. But that's basically it. I completely forgot to include that in the video. I'll record the outro here anyway. Sorry, this is the worst video ever made. I'm not exactly the greatest programmer to ever live. But, you know, I do have fun making these videos. Because they're pretty stupid. And it just gives me something to do. But there's another video. It'll be the Slayers in 2025. Because I wanted to get that there. But, yeah. I'll catch y'all on the flip side, I think. I don't really have an outro planned. That's funny every time I do it. But yeah, thank you for watching the Supercell YouTube channel. This is Editing 9 where they're signing out.